she committed suicide last year. You know, for nothing.
What is that? Tocapo.
Tocapo.
But there's a difference between generosity and stupidity. Okay?
Are you calling me stupid?
No, I am not.
I wanna get better, yeah. Better, yeah. Every day I wanna be just fine, yeah. And the more I wanna cry, this is my calling, yeah.
So last week we were talking about a lot of things, and this week we're gonna take it to the next level. Just as promised, we are going to be talking about what it takes to invite somebody to the US, instances that have led to people getting depressed. Some have lost their lives, some have decided, like, you know, I can't do this anymore. And also some people came here with the hope of just making it in like a split second or something like that, and then it doesn't work like they were thinking it's going to work, and then, you know, they just give up and they pack everything and then they go back home after all the 10-20 years and stuff like that. The reason behind all of this is because of the pressure that they receive from people back home.
Right, from what I've understood and from the things that you've told me, that people will put a lot of pressure on a family member that comes over here.
Yes.
Pressure to send money home.
Yes.
Pressure to invite people to come here, and people don't understand everything.
Yes.
I didn't understand everything that was required in order to come here. I mean, my own misconception is, oh, you want me to invite you? Here, let's write a letter. Hey, you're invited. Come and see me. Come to the United States. I'm in Dallas, Texas. Come to visit me, you know, and here, you know, boom, send the email and off you go.
Yes.
It's not like that at all, is it?
It's not like that, because first of all, there is that invitation letter which you need to write. You might decide not to write it because, you know, whether you write it or not, it doesn't have like a huge impact like that. It just helps the person back there like have a reason to come. But it's not like you're the one who is going to submit it. You are sending it to the person back there, and then they're going to have to submit it to the embassy, and then the embassy is going to be processing everything.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it depends on that person who is back there. What else is needed in order to invite somebody? Number one, they are going to need your ID.
Yes.
Identification is a must, because they have to see you are a citizen or you are lawful permanent resident. And then the second part, they're going to need proof of income. So it's going to be like your pay stubs and all of these things you're going to have to submit.
Right.
And then they're going to have to run through your bank statements too.
That's a lot.
You know, they're going to have to run through your bank statements. And remember, these things are not only going to the US Embassy. They are going to end up in the person's hand. So we're going to use a simple termination. So the process of inviting somebody from, let's say in Africa to here, or from Kenya to here, depending on my instance and stuff like that, is somebody needs to sponsor them. But because this term sponsor has been dismantled in my country where I come from, we're not going to use it. So we're going to use host and guest.
Okay, host and guest.
Yeah. So the person who is going to be inviting the other person to come and visit them is going to be the host, and the person who is going to be coming is the guest. So we hope you follow through.
Okay, so
as we are going through with it. So we're going to be using host and guest.
I'm the host.
Yeah.
You're the guest.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, not you, of course. Yeah. So I'm the host.
Yeah.
And
I'm the guest.
Yes. Okay.
So it's going to end up, the host documents, the documentations are going to be needed from the host, because they have to. You have to prove that you're going to be able to take care of this person when they come to the US, in this case, and they're not going to end up in the street, or they're not going to be putting pressure on the government, or they're not going to be ending up being another responsibility on the government or people around them or something like that. You know, they're not going to be ending up going to other other ways in order to like maybe get something to eat, maybe robbing or things like that. You know, they have to ensure like there's going to be safety with this other person who is going to come to the US. So that is why the documentations are needed: the ID, the bank statements, the proof of employment, proof of income, and also proof of employment, because there is no way you're going to get an income if you're not employed, unless you're looking into this unemployment, which then disqualifies you.
So the host,
Yes.
has to supply proof of employment.
Yes.
They have to supply bank statements.
Yes.
They have to supply, I'm going to say W-2s.
Yes.
I'm going to say tax returns
Tax
for a certain amount of
returns.
times.
Yes.
Okay.
ID, don't forget that.
Identification,
Yes.
right? Which will be driver's license.
Yes.
So what's scary about all of that is,
Yes.
of course, it'll also be social security number. So what's scary about all of that is that when you're sending this to a person,
Yes.
maybe you know this person, maybe you think
don't.
you don't that you know this person,
Yes.
maybe you don't know this person
Yes.
at all. But what you just sent them, if you're doing this, and you're saying that it gets sent to the embassy, but it also has to be sent to the guest.
Yes.
So you're basically giving that person all the information that they need
Yes.
in order to steal your identity.
Yes.
If you can fish for one more piece of information, they can hack your bank account. Okay.
Yes.
Because when you're putting all of those things, you're going to be putting your bank account number and the bank routing number. But even if you don't put the bank routing number, that's very easy to get.
Yeah.
With a bank account number, then all you need is a way to log into that person's account,
Yes.
and now you have access. Ooh, I don't think I like that. Okay?
So that is why people need to understand, like, you know, you can't be just a random person that I don't even know, or who cannot even, you know, do anything for you, but then they expect you to do that huge favor. So that's what people don't understand. Like, you know, if it was just writing a letter, everybody could have been having their relatives over in the US. They could have been having their friends over in the US and so on. But it takes a lot more than that. And in this current world where there is so much betrayal, apart from the hacking and security and stuff like that, personally, as a social media personality, I won't be comfortable if somebody is going to be leaking my incoming details. You know, they might decide to just expose it, you know, or they might start to look at it and saying, oh my God, this person is making $12,000 a month, but they just send me $10, you know.
Yeah,
look at how many they are. Let me
expose them.
Yes, you know.
This could
Things
happen.
like that could happen, and it doesn't matter whether it's your sister, whether it's your brother, whether it's your friend who you think it's really your friend, whether it's your auntie, uncle, all of these kinds of relatives. You know, so that is what people need to understand. And I have had so many people come to me and tell me, like, you know, just invite me over, I'll take care of myself. No, you're not going to take care of yourself, because I am responsible for you the entire time you're going to be staying here.
Right. Now, and that is a financial responsibility.
Exactly.
So that person comes over here, and you're telling the U.S. government, this person is going to come over here as my guest. I will be paying all of their expenses. The U.S. taxpayer will not be investing one thin dime in caring for this person.
No. And I'm gonna ensure, like, everybody, this person is gonna be around, is gonna be safe. And, you know, I will take responsibility in case anything this person decides to do is not right. Things like that. So it's a lot of putting yourself on the line.
So then I will bet also that you are responsible for making sure that they're coming over here on a travel visa. You can only stay here at it's like you have to be here. So 180 days, right? 6 months, and then you have to go back to your home country for
like 6 months,
and then before you can come back. That you, as the host, are going to be taking responsibility for ensuring that this person gets back on that plane to go back to where they came from.
Exactly. So yes, it's a huge responsibility once you think about it. And not everybody who writes a letter and who presents all of those proofs are gonna be given, you know, the opportunity to bring their relatives, friends, and whoever they want to invite over.
Right.
Because also, apart from all of those things that we have mentioned, there also is something else where there is like minimum wage. They have to see like how much are you earning in a year. Right. So if you're a single person, like or you're living alone and stuff like that, and you're inviting your relatives over, you have to be making at least like $15 an hour. You know, so you have to be making like at least 20-something thousand. So
$15 an hour equates out to about $30,000 a year.
Yes.
So for everyone that's out there that, you know, convert it to your own local currency, do the math.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so understand that there is a big, you know, there's a minimum, and it's a big commitment.
Yes.
Okay, in order for this to happen. Okay.
Yes, and let us also remember when we are looking at $15 an hour, let us go back to the first conversation where we were calculating based on $75 an hour, and remember how hardly this person could even live or breathe. So if you're a single person living alone, you're going to be having to have a minimum of like $30,000. You're making $30,000 a year. So if you're making anything, if you're making $22,000, forget about it.
Right.
You cannot invite anybody here.
Not happening.
And if you are married, the more people, like if you're living two people, it's a different case. The more people living in that house, the more money they're going to expect you to earn in order to be able to take care of another person, because there's no way you're going to be able to take care of another person from another country if you cannot even take care of yourself based on the minimum wage policies and requirements of the United States.
Right. Now, you also have to consider some other things.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're going to have people that are going to be living with you, okay, here in the United States, they have rules about how many people, the maximum number of people that can live in a specific residence. So we live here, as an example, in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment currently. Generally, you're only going to be allowed to have a couple, 2 people, and an infant that are that's going to be about the maximum number of people that you're going to be permitted to have in a 1-bedroom apartment. Okay. So you can't have 3, 4, 5 people, you know, living in here, and you know the parents and the one child are living in the bedroom, and then you have other people that are sleeping out on the sofa and all this. That's not going to work. Short term for guests, that's one thing, but somebody that's going to come to live with you, it's a whole different deal. Now, once you get into where you have, say, 2 children, now you're going to need to be into a 2-bedroom apartment. So the parents live in 1 bedroom, the children in another. Okay. It's not necessarily required that you have 2 bathrooms. It is more convenient that way, but it's not necessarily required. But now, once you start getting into that 3rd child, now you're going to have to start having all of these kinds of considerations as well. So the more people the bottom line is the more people that you're going to put into a place of residence, the more rooms you have to have. Those are health department rules. Those are local zoning rules. You know, all of these kinds of things. These are the rules that are set out for these kinds of things.
Housing.
Okay.
Yes, and another thing is, according to the housing policies, also, like, you know, you've talked about the numbers. Now we want to talk about like fire hazard, you know, things like that. So that's why each apartment has smoke detectors everywhere, and also, like, you know, multiple you know, exits.
You got to have multiple exits. That's correct. You have to have multiple exits in order to be able to evacuate people from a residence in the event of a fire or something to that effect. Again, those are laws that are put out there for people's safety and things like that, but they are, you know, required. So, you know, ours has multiple exits. We have at least 4 in which we can get out.
Exactly. So I remember living in houses where it just had like 1 exit, some, you know, 2, some 3 and stuff like that. So, you know, here it is they try to make you as safe as possible.
Yes.
Now imagine if you're living in a 1-bedroom apartment and you're like 7 people. You know, when in case of fire, what is going to happen?
Correct.
If we are here and we are 7 people and, you know, we are trying to fit in and stuff like that, then 4 people can get out all at once.
Exactly.
You know? So it's because of those things. That's why they are limiting the amount of people. So people also need to remember that.
Right.
So
it's very important.
It's very important. It's very important. So yeah. So we talk about the leaking. We talk about the safety concerns. We've also talked about the pressure that it comes with, because you have to really show that you're gonna be responsible. And some people end up taking 2-3 jobs.
Right.
Ahead of like trying to plan before they write that invitation letter and things like that. So it's unnecessary pressure on the people, because a person who is working like a normal job, full time, they work like 40 hours a week. That means every day you have to work 8 hours.
Right.
You know? So imagine now taking 2 jobs. It means you're going to be working 16 hours a day.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Some people, they even push it further than that, you know, in order to like show that, you know, they are earning so much, so that the government can, you know, consider them when they are inviting their relatives. So do not do that to your relative, do not do that to your friends, because it is really not necessary. Let them get themselves first, discover themselves first, get on their feet and stuff like that, and then from there they might decide even on their own to invite you, but do not come giving people pressure. And especially if you don't know the person. How is a stranger just coming to you and telling you, invite me to the US, I will be taking care of myself alone? No, you can't do that. And even if you are my friend, I have siblings back home, so if my first opportunity to invite somebody comes, it's gonna be my siblings.
Absolutely.
Am I gonna invite a far-fetched friend, or a random person on Facebook, or a random person on Instagram or TikTok, you know, over my siblings? So people also have to be realistic about these things, you know, before they open their mouths. And at times, you know, it makes you wonder, like, what are they thinking when they say some of these things?
Yeah, and they're demanding. I mean, I've seen some of these things that they don't even ask. They come in and say, invite me to the U.S.
Yes.
Invite me. No. Why did you at least ask? I mean, you know, surely. Ask, you know, but to come up and say, invite me. It's the same thing as send me 5,000 shillings.
Or talk up.
Right.
Yeah, you know, it's like it's a command, so you can't do that.
And it's like, who are you to make that kind of a command?
Exactly.
You know, especially, that's the thing. So, you know, I mean, I've learned a lot as a result of this. It's like, this is not just a very simple request that says, here, let me just write you this letter, and boom, there you go, and now you get to go and have your fun at the U.S. Embassy and try to get yourself a visa. No, it doesn't work that way. It is quite the commitment on the part of the host. And so the host basically has to turn over their financial life and take a huge risk and trust the guest with all of their financial information, and not just that, but the ability basically to steal their identity and rob them blind. I don't think I know anybody in any other part of the world that I'm willing to do that for at all. No, you know.
And one more thing I was forgetting about, apart from all of these things that are required, there is a form that you need to file. Let's say like you've written the letter and you're also trying to bring them over. Let's say you're gonna file for a relative to come over. You know, so you're gonna have to file an I-130. So I-130, in order to fill it up, is gonna be like around $540.
See, so now you've got to spend money even to make that happen in the first place.
Exactly.
A little scary.
You know, and plus, even if you fill the form, the letter, and whatever else, you might decide to send it to the embassy, or you might just send it to the person directly, because at the end of the day, the embassy is more interested in the one that the people they are gonna send are gonna give to them.
Right.
You know, once they have like the appointment date and stuff like that. So, $540 is also gonna be parting with you when you're going to be doing that.
Well, and this then I would tell you also then at that particular point, assuming that we have gone through all of this to invite you and taken all of those huge risks.
Yes.
When your appointment date comes there at the embassy, you better be there. I don't care what it is. Okay? Because we'll have already spent a ton of money just for that to happen. So you better show up, and I don't want to hear any excuse of couldn't get transportation, couldn't do this.
Oh,
that's on you.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you gotta meet
you gotta at least, I mean, you gotta have respect for the person that's actually going through and doing all of this stuff.
Because you know they are going through emotional trauma, financial trauma,
exactly,
all those kinds of traumas. You know, and they still have to take a risk. Like, do I really know this person? Yeah, are they gonna kill me in the middle of the night, thinking that they're gonna get some little money out of me, or what are they gonna do to me? You know,
of course.
So it's a huge risk. It takes a lot, and people need to understand that.
Absolutely.
That was the first part of the conversation that we were gonna be having today. And apart from the invitation, there are other things that we had touched on last week on the other video, but we are still gonna expound on. Still going by the person who is making like $75 an hour. Let's say, like, you know, maybe they are continuing their education or something like that. And so there is student loans and stuff like that. So apart from all the breakdown that we did, there is still gonna be an amount that is gonna be going to student loans.
Yes. There's all of that. There's that. God only knows what else there is, you know. It's just, we put down some very basic expenses when we did this last time, okay? And while those are, you know, more or less basic, there are other things, student loans, as you mentioned. There could be, you know, other training and whatnot that maybe you need to pay for in order to, let's say that you want to change careers. Okay? Well, there's going to be other training and other education that you're going to take that you will pay for out of pocket. All of these kinds of things that you need to keep in mind and you need to pay for. You find out that the money does go a lot faster than you think it does. You know, which, I mean, you know, you've seen, right?
Yes, it does.
You know, and that was something that you learned not long after you got here. You know, you got here and you said, wow, I'm making $100 a day, you know, and you're going, that's 10,000 shillings, okay? Until you go and you find out, oh,
I'm paying.
I mean, it costs $35 to put gasoline in a car. You know, wow, that's $3,500. Yeah, you know, rent is 170,000 shillings.
So thank God I wasn't paying rent.
That's exactly. So when you start doing that kind of math, you know, and that's what the whole point we were trying to get at the last time. Was to say that, look, yes, there is a lot more money that we make here. However, also all of the property values and therefore rental rates and all of these kinds of things are way more expensive than they are at where you know, in most countries where you come from. You know, for instance, you know, your home country, it's a lot more expensive rent wise than it, you know, here than it is there. So you take all of those things into account, and then you say, wow, now that's that $100 a day is not very much at all, you know, which it isn't. In American society nowadays, $100 a day is $500 a week, and that's not very much money. Okay, you know, that's $2,000 a month, and you know, you're paying $1,700 a month for rent. Well, you can't even keep the power on for any more than about half of a month, and you can't feed yourself. This is what we're talking about.
Exactly. So that's the first part of the conversation we're talking about. So this other part is people have come to the US, right? So most people, when they come here, they see that amount and then they convert it into their, let's say, Kenyan shillings, and then they start making this huge ambition. They are super ambitious, so they're like, in 3 months I'm gonna be able to build my mama house, I'm gonna be able to buy you know, a whole cute apartment, not apartment, but I'm gonna buy a house, and I'm gonna be just working here for like 2-3 years, and then I go back there. Whatever.
Yeah, with $1 million and all of this other. Yeah, just put the brakes on there. Just
hold up.
All right, not gonna quite work that way.
Exactly. So there are some people who had that kind of mentality. This is their 10th year. Yeah. They are still working on it.
Yeah, and how much money do they have sitting there in the bank? Okay?
Not so much.
Exactly. How much have you got that you've been able to send back home? Not nearly as much as you wanted to.
Yeah.
So these are the realities of coming here.
Yeah. So people need to understand this. We are trying to help people break those notions stereotypes, so that they don't come here and end up like some people who they had high expectations and then they try to push for a long time and the expenses can't catch up with their income, and so they just resort to like ending their lives, or
which is so sad,
and because they cannot explain to people back there enough. When they tell them they don't have, they're like, you're mean, you just don't want to send it to me,
right?
You're just selfish and stuff like that. This is the person who is working 40 hours a week, at times even 50 hours a week, but they cannot even turn on the AC. They cannot even turn on the AC because it is extremely expensive to even live.
Right. Now, and to understand the impact, the full impact of not being able to turn on the air conditioner. Exactly. Okay. First of all, homes in the United States, all homes, apartments, single-family homes, all of them are designed primarily for energy efficiency.
Yes.
Okay. So what we're also saying, though, is they're designed for air handling equipment, air conditioners and heating.
Yes.
Okay. So the idea is you want to keep the outside air out and the inside air in.
Yes.
And you want to make sure that there's a barrier between the outside air and the inside air, so that when you cool the apartment down to or the home down to a certain temperature, let's say 75 degrees Fahrenheit, it stays 75 degrees Fahrenheit for a while before the heat from outside radiates in and then raises the temperature.
Yes.
Now, this happens. It's just the way things are.
Yes.
There's nothing you can't change physics.
Yes.
But you can slow it down. But this is how they build things here.
Yes.
Now, so when it gets to be 115 degrees outside in the summer, which it does here in Dallas all the time. We went through the whole month of July and August where we didn't see a day where it was below 100 degrees during the day. And it's 89 and 90 degrees when it's time for us to go to sleep at night. You have to have the air conditioner in order for it to even be reasonably comfortable.
Yes.
Okay? Because you can't open the windows. If you do, now, of course, you've now created a security problem.
Yes.
Okay, as those of you in other places will know. Opening the windows invites the bad guys in. Exactly. So you keep your doors locked, you keep your windows locked, closed and locked. Okay, but you must be able to run the air conditioner.
Yes.
Okay. I have been in a situation here in this place before we met where I had the air conditioner was gone.
Yes.
Okay, it went out, it quit working. And in very short order at night, I've got a photo someplace, I think I still got it, where I took a picture of this thermometer over my shoulder here, where it was 92 degrees in here at night. The sun's been down for hours. It's 92 degrees. So an air conditioner is an important thing to have.
Yes.
So when you're saying to somebody they can't run the air conditioner, that is a big deal here.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Because you have to be able to do it.
Exactly.
You don't get airflow.
Yeah, some people even die.
Yes.
Because, it's too hot or it's, too cold, they freeze to death or whatever. But some people cannot be able to keep up with that, so they just don't run it.
Right.
So, but then you're still here giving them so much pressure.
Correct.
And this whole story, I was inspired because last year there is somebody that I know, actually we came in the US together. Like we set foot the same day in the US. and right now she's dead. She committed suicide last year. You know, because of all of these pressures.
That's
you know
a shame.
that and you know, I have been lucky because you know the majority of my family is here. So there are some pressures that I didn't really go through, that other people have gone through.
Yes.
I've experienced first-hand struggles, but it's not, I can really say that it's not as bad as other people's, because they come here alone and they figure it on their own. You know, so it's them with this $15 an hour or 20, and they have family back home there who are really giving them pressure. There are some people who have come here and then they have different kinds of pressure. Apart from the ones from home, they are trying to find a social life, which is totally different compared to the ones back home there, you know.
Right.
For instance, we hardly know our neighbors.
Oh, correct.
You know.
This is true.
Yes. But that wasn't true when I was in my home country, you know. So all of those combined, plus the social life, plus you are trying, maybe you are in your late 20s, you know, that pressure is messing with your head, because some people in their late 20s, they start giving themselves, or the family starts to give them pressure, like you need to get married, you need to settle down and stuff like that.
You need to have children.
You need to have children and stuff,
Yeah.
you know. So all of those things all together, and then there are people like me who can just tell you, no, especially lately.
Yeah.
And then there are people like other people, a few people that I know who cannot say no. They cannot say the situation they are in. They feel like, you know, how am I going to look like I'm in the US and I don't have this?
Yes.
You know, I can't be able to help it. So they will strain themselves in order to just not to say that they don't have this thing.
Right.
You know, because how are you in the US and you don't have this?
Right.
How are you in the US and you cannot send me 500 shillings?
Right.
Nobody would understand that. You know, so all of those frustrations together, and then, you know, like I said, like our story, we met on an online dating site.
Right.
So maybe they try the online dating site and all those other things. They meet people who are not good people. You know.
Right.
And they harass them left, right. People even blackmail them. You know, and so on. So all of those frustrations combined, they lead to, you know, they lead to craziness. There are some people who came here again with the high expectations that they're gonna do so much with their lives, and then it was too much. They couldn't take it. Right. You know, like the one ended their life. There are some people who, there's another lady also who just ran on the street and she was run over. She was just tired. You know, there is a couple who couldn't take it. They had been here for like almost 15 years. They packed, they went back home. You know, so imagine the humiliation that you're gonna face, because I remember a few stories here and there of people who I heard about their stories that, oh, they went there, they couldn't make a life for themselves, now they are here just like us. You know, the way those wild people talk around the villages and, you know, the little towns, and the gossip of the week. Right. You know, so things like that also don't do justice to them, you know. And maybe people take a peep and they see where you live and they say, oh, so they're living like they're living in a bed-sitter. A bed-sitter is a studio. Okay. Here, right? Yep. So they say, so they're living in the US and they're living in a bed-sitter? Are you kidding me? These people are not serious. Just come back to Kenya. Just come back to Africa. It's going to be better for you. Right. You know, all of those things, some people like I can handle them. There are some people who cannot handle them. Right. You know, so every day we try to tell people on the internet, please try to be nice to people. There is those things that you're expecting in your head. If you see the reality of this person and it's not the truth, just hold it back. Or maybe tell them in a nice way, or ask them about it, let them explain it to you. And I normally say, like, one thing I love about here, people don't ask you what you do. In most cases.
In most cases, yeah.
In most cases, people won't ask you what you do, because people do all sorts of jobs and they are there in order to put food on their table. And if they can't get extra shifts on their main jobs, they will go and get it from elsewhere, regardless.
Right.
Jobs like taking trash, the other day we were seeing, it's a good amount. It's like $16 or $17 an hour.
Yeah, starting.
Right. You know, so and the back home people will laugh at those jobs. They will say he went to the US, he's just taking trash from people's apartments, he's just wiping people's asses and things like that.
You know, and waiters and bartenders and things like that make some really good money.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, so
especially when you're working at one of the higher end restaurants, if you're a waiter or waitress, a bartender, one of those kind of things, you are going to bring the dollars in. So this is why, it is absolutely different here, because it's, you know, you can make a lot of money doing a lot of different things.
Yes.
Okay. Plumbers can make $100,000 a year and more. Electricians the same way.
Yes.
Carpenters the same way. Don't look down on those roofers and those kinds of things. These people are making a lot of money.
Yes.
Okay? That's for one. For two, they've probably got a skill set that you don't have.
Yes.
So I will look at somebody and I'm like, I've learned how to do drywall work from a guy who did drywall work in a former house that I used to own.
Yes.
He came in to do some stuff. I asked if I could watch. I asked him questions while he was going along, and he was great and just told me everything, showed me everything, explained to me why it was that he did this. And I learned how to do something.
Yes.
Now, some people would look at it as, hey, I do what I do in the IT industry, and then I'm up here and this guy.
They don't even talk to them. They even treat them badly, and stuff.
I won't. Everybody can teach you something. Everybody can teach you something. So you learn here, you learn to respect other people regardless of what it is that they do. Okay? Because in the end, they're working just as hard as you are, and they have the same goals in mind, which is to, have their home, their car, take care of their wife, their children, or their husband. Let me qualify that. You take care of your family, okay? Because here most husbands and wives work. And you're taking care of your children, you're paying for your residence, you're paying for your cars. As we said, cars are something you have to have here in the United States. You're paying for all of these things. You're trying to save for your retirement, maybe go take a vacation if you can this year, buy a few things, do all of these sorts of things that you want to try to do, and you work hard at those kind of things. Now when you have somebody that's come over here, this is, now they're trying to struggle through all of these things all alone, and you're going to pressure them about sending you money, getting married, having children, bringing over your family. Doing that kind of stuff, you will put that person in the ground, okay? Or you will have them so discouraged that they say, I'm done, let me get a ticket back home, and they go home, all right? And the American dream is dead for them and for you. Bring them here, let them be here, let them live their life, okay? And then they can do for you. If they're not sending you money, it's not because they can't. I mean, it's not because they don't want to, it's because they can't. There's a lot more that was going on that they had to pay for that you had no idea, and neither did they when they got here.
Exactly.
And that's the truth.
Yeah, and then there are also this bunch of people who they have their relatives here, let's say like a situation where it's a mom or a dad working so tirelessly. They are now in their 60s or something like that, but they're still busting their asses because in their heads they are thinking they are gonna work so hard. There is a vision that they had that they still have, so they are trying to like maybe build houses and stuff like that back there. You still find relatives back there, they're knocking them off. So like they will tell you like something is 100,000 when it's like 50,000 because in US there is so much money. They don't know that they are making this process longer than it should be, and they are really breaking the backs of this relative who is here. And also there are cases that there was another Nigerian woman, I was watching another video, there's another Nigerian woman who she was sending money to the brother, blood brother. And because it's blood brother, she did not ask for any proofs of the progress.
Not good.
The woman went back and the house she's been building for almost 20 years was on the foundation.
All that money was sucked away.
That woman almost collapsed. She cried like a baby.
No doubt.
You know.
That's bad when you
Now
can't even trust your family.
If you can't trust your own brother, you know, are you gonna grab a random person on there to invite them over? Or are you gonna grab a random person? Are you? Is that woman ever gonna even trust the sister?
No.
Or even the daughter? You know. So people also, when they do these things, they burn bridges too.
Yes.
You know. And they don't think about the long term.
Family members is really bad.
Yes.
Really bad.
So there are also situations like that too. So we've given so many instances because these things have happened. We haven't made up any story here. They are real. They have happened, and I know more about them because I am from there and I have interacted with those people more than you have.
Oh, and I've heard these stories, and you've shown me these stories that you've told me, these horror stories of people that have sunk all of this money back into, you know, building what they thought was going to be a retirement future back home. You know, and to me it makes me think, you know, if you can't even trust your own family with that kind of thing, maybe what you need to do, my own personal opinion, I can't speak for anybody else, but if I was in that situation, my personal opinion is that I'm going to commit to the USA and I will stay here. I'm not going to send money back home to build a house for me to retire. I will deal with it here, and I will retire here, and I will die here. You know, now, of course, I'm born here, and I will die here as well. Unless, of course, something happens when we're on a vacation somewhere, you know.
Come on.
But, you know.
But anyway, all of the things we were saying were just to let people understand, have a better insight, and understand when you get the green card today, you win the lottery today, this is what it means moving to the US. You might get that job within even the first month that you come here because you wait for your social security and then you get to work. But then you might start working and making some good amounts of money, but bear this in mind.
Yes.
This is what you expect when you come here.
Yes.
Now, people like us, nobody told us about these things.
Right.
But we don't want other people going through some huge shocks that we went through.
Correct.
You know, so this should be taken as like a huge amount of help. And they normally also talk about in the streets there. They normally talk about people in the U.S. who have relocated from African countries to the U.S. They normally feel like, you know, they are above everybody else. They feel like, you know, they are God. They don't want to tell people about this green card and lottery hacks and stuff. There is no hack for lottery, by the way. It is just luck.
Yeah, right.
So I might apply with you today and you get it and I don't get it. We might go with you on the interview today. I might pass it. You might go back home with your, you know, pink paper.
Right.
You know. So it is not a guarantee.
That's the luck of the draw.
It's luck. And also how prepared, when it comes to the interview, it's how prepared are you.
Right.
When it comes to the lottery and everything like that, it is luck. So just keep playing. Do not hold a grudge with somebody because they've been in the US personally I've been here for 5 years, but I've never invited anyone. Now they are going to feel so bad about it, and you know, they cut ties with me and things like that. No, it's not like that. If we had the power, everybody who is in my contact list right now could have been here.
Right.
So please be gracious to the people, your relatives in the US. Be gracious to your relatives in the US and other countries where they're trying to get greener pastures.
Right.
You know, if there are also some people who have been here for like more years than they can count. They don't even know one vacation spot because they cannot afford to go there.
Right.
All they do is work their entire lives. And they cannot even afford a vacation.
And that's not a life.
That's not a life.
No, that's not a life.
Because you cannot live to work your entire life.
Correct.
if you don't have an option, it's one thing, but again, you have to make time. You have to deny a few people.
Correct.
Because your responsibility, you are the first. It is your responsibility, your life.
Correct.
You know.
Absolutely well said.
Then all the other people, they come second. So there are also these people who are like, oh, she's denying me money, but I'm seeing her going to vacations and stuff like that. I'm working so that I can live that life.
That's right.
You are working so that you can live that life. So what hurts? And other people also, they feel guilty about it. Do not feel guilty about it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You are not only working in order to pay wages and pay the government. You also have to have a life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
So-
as we said last week,
Yes.
if you are sending your family member over here with the primary goal of sending money back home and taking care of you back home,
Yes.
you are sending them here for all the wrong reasons. If you're sending them over here, count your blessings and wish them well, wish them blessings, and let them enjoy their life.
Yes.
Fell in love and lost it all. Maybe that's my greatest mistake. Played around and lost my chance. Taking time and I regret it. I fell in love and lost it all. Maybe that's my greatest mistake. Played around and lost my chance. Taking time and I regret it. Whoa, whoa, I regret it. Yeah.
Okay, so what are your final thoughts, brilliant thoughts that you want to leave people with about this entire topic?
Okay, so my thoughts on this, I have learned many things, especially even as part of this conversation.
Yes.
The one thing that you want to keep in mind, all of those people that are out there
Yes.
that want to push you, to invite them,
Yes.
okay? Sometimes very rudely
Yes.
making a demand
Most of the
and
times.
invite me,
Yes.
okay? Understand that the host is having to commit a whole lot of resources and they have to take all the risk.
Yes.
You as the guest take no risk at all. The host is the one that takes all the risk, and they are risking their entire financial life.
Yes.
Okay? They are risking identity theft. They are risking having all or a significant portion of their money stolen.
Yes.
All manner of things.
Yes.
Okay? In order to invite you
Yes.
and to be the host for you to come here. Okay? So recognize that they are making a major commitment and treat them with the respect, and more importantly, the information that they send you, the documentation that they send you, guard it with your life.
Yes.
Because that's that person, that's the host's life.
Yes.
So you guard it with your life. No screenshots,
Yes.
no emails, no showing this around
Yes.
to your friends and family and all of this. And if you want to be bitter about it because that person is making a whole lot of money, let me tell you right here and now. Yes, that person is making a whole lot of money by your standards.
Yes.
Okay? But if you can't deal with it, and if you're going to be envious of all of that and then turn around and then expose their information because you're envious,
Exactly.
do yourself a favor. Don't even ask to be invited.
Yeah.
Okay? If you want somebody to invite you, be somebody that they can trust.
Be of help to them
Be
too.
of help to them, yes. But especially hold that information that they give you in order for you to take that to the embassy with, as I said, you guard that with your life. Literally. Okay? Because that's what you're doing. That's what they're doing. They're risking their financial life in order to provide you a path to come to this country. So keep that in the back of your mind. That's the biggest takeaway that you have right there. Okay? It's not just sending you an email that says I invite you to the United States. It's sending all of their financial documentation in order to ensure the U.S. government that they are going to they have the wherewithal in order to keep you up while you're here.
Yes.
Okay? So that, to me, that is one of the biggest takeaways right there. And I think the other one that we can take away from there is we've tried to reiterate again, how the misconception that your family member is going to come over here, make all of this huge amount of money, okay? Or you yourself, if you're coming over here, you're going to make this huge amount of money, and in 6 months, you're going to send back all kinds of cash money in order to build a house. No, not happening. It's not happening. The realities of life in the United States and the realities of the costs of things in the United States. You can't compare, as an example, you can't compare rental rates for an average apartment in Dallas, Texas, and an average apartment in Nairobi. Okay? It's going to cost you 10 times more for the same apartment every single month, at least 10 times more, in whatever currency you want to use, to rent an apartment here in Dallas versus an apartment in Nairobi.
In Nigeria.
In Nigeria, is right.
Yeah.
You go to New York, and it'll be 5 times more than it is in Dallas.
Yes.
Okay? Those little bed sitters that you were talking about in New York, you'll pay $3,000 a month for one.
Yes.
Or more.
If you're lucky too.
Yeah, some of those, an apartment in New York that is comparable to what we pay here for this apartment is going to be like a large walk-in closet.
Yeah.
And it will be a bed sitter. Okay? Maybe 300 square feet.
Yes.
So you're talking about a travel trailer size.
Yes.
Well, or I guess they call that a caravan in other places. I know that's what they call it in the UK, but anyway, the point being, these are the kinds of things you need to keep in mind. Okay? So don't pressure people, and don't pressure your family members. That's what I've got.
Thank you so much. So I want to say my piece too before we say bye-bye. Be realistic. There is no way you're a stranger.
Right.
I am an artist. You've never even liked my post, but then you're coming to me. The first time I'm knowing about you, you're coming to ask me to invite you. I will not. You don't like my post, you don't share my post, you don't stream my music, you do not help me in any way, I will not invite you. Whether you are my sister, whether you are my brother, whether you are my uncle, auntie, whether you are a church member, a pastor. I don't care who you are, but I'm at a point in my life where, like, you pour into my cup, I do the same to you. So let us be realistic, people. Do not ask me for something that you would not do to me. Right now we have all these sorts of things. My birthday is coming up, right? You can even send $1, right? Yeah. So if you've never sent me even $1, if you've never helped me in any single way, never come to me with an invite request, because I'm trying to make it simple, right? Just forget about it, because you cannot help me, so do not expect me to help you, right? That's just a fair thing to say, right? So that is my first piece. Number two is like this. Please be nice to your friends, relatives who are here. There are some people who have been here, they were born and raised here, they are US citizens firsthand, but they don't have their shit together. So do not give us pressure. Within 5 years, you expect us to be billionaires in dollars. Please give us time to grow. And stop giving us those unnecessary pressures. Again, do not come to us or me asking me for 100,000 Kenya shillings. That is $1,000. I am not giving it to you. Right. Because one, how are you going to pay it back? Two, am I willing to lose that money? I'm not. Every dollar counts.
It does.
So do not come with ridiculous requests. Wait until you're seeing me going to these luxurious places, then you can come to me about it. And just come to me if you know you've been pouring into my cup, And then I'm just trying to make it simple. And also, when you see me online, when you see maybe where I'm living does not match your standards, when you see maybe where your relative is living or how they're living their lives does not match your imagination, because these people normally give you some kinds of levels and standards. For instance, even before I met you, I was hearing rumors that, you know, I was married to a very old guy and I have a very big house and I'm making all these kinds of money. So somebody's coming to ask me 500,000 shillings. It doesn't work.
No.
I cannot even give my mother 500,000 shillings right now, even if I wanted to. So who are you
Exactly.
to ask me for 500,000? And we were not even that close. You know, so people need to be realistic. People need to give people space and time to get to somewhere. Then they will definitely maybe. I'm a person who goes by the mantra like, if you come up with me, I will forever remember you.
Right.
But if you but if you just want to be there for the results, I also have a very sweet message for you. Forget about it.
That's right. Move on.
Move on before it's too late, and then you'll be hurting yourself for nothing.
What is that? Toca apple. I'm going to say this because, you know, I mean, just so that everybody knows. I mean, you and I have been together for 4 years.
Yes.
Okay, out of the 5 that you've been here. Okay, well, you and I have been together 4 years of that. I have seen back early on that these people would ask for money, and you would send
instantly.
And you would send. And so you were very, very generous. And these people will repay you by no longer showing up on the live, no longer liking posts, no longer sharing
even gossiping.
Links. Yeah, and talking a bunch of
and
garbage.
Laughing at
Yes, exactly. And being envious as soon as you started your career out. As soon as you started your career out, boom, all of a sudden everybody stopped. As soon as you put down the first song. Okay? So you were a very generous person. You still are a very generous person. But there's a difference between generosity and stupidity. Okay?
Are you calling me stupid?
No, I am not. Because you have gone through and said, these people are doing nothing. They are not here for me. All they do is they want to be leeches.
Yes.
They just want to suck the life out of me. They want me to send them money, and if I don't send them money, they disappear.
Yes.
If I do send them money, they disappear. Okay, well then the point being,
money is the constant factor.
the money is a concept. So constant. So if you're not going to get a benefit either way, it's better to keep the money. And that's the decision that you make.
Yes, and so far I can smile at a little bit when I look at the
yeah, sure.
a little bit, you know. Right now I could have had 10,000 problems from 5 people, and some are shameless. They will come back and come back and come back and come back and come back. I've even had somebody that I said, this one, it hurts me, so I will say it forever. I've had somebody that I helped, they asked me, they turned to everybody, they couldn't help them. And I helped them. They were looking to go to a funeral. They didn't even have transportation. I gave it to them. Plus, one thing about me, if you ask me, I do you better. I do you one better. So if you ask me for 1,500, I'll do you better. So I gave them even more than what they wanted.
Right.
Then the following day, I'm releasing a song. I'm sending this same person a link. Yes, it is not good to give and you know and expect something in return, but be human. Use your common sense.
Exactly.
Right. I'm using my monetary 1,500 shillings. You know, that one is close to $15. That is close to what maybe I'm making. You don't know what somebody is making. And then I'm giving it to you, 1 hour worth of work, but you cannot take 2 seconds to share a link.
Yes.
You know. So why am I busting my ass for you? Is it worth it? It's not.
No.
So let us be realistic people. Let us be people who are grateful when good things are done for them. We've seen also cases where some people have invited their relatives and then they come and screw them over. They start releasing their in-house secrets. They start saying how they are fighting with their husbands, how they are denying them food and things like that. So be a good person. If somebody does you good, be nice. Remember, do not be a person with a short-term memory, which most of people have anyway. So
yeah, and understand something. I mean, everybody needs to understand also, I think. I mean, it's not really necessarily part of the subject, but we'll go ahead and touch on it anyway.
yeah.
For those of you that think that, the ones that are out there, for these people that are out there that
Yes.
think that we're just living life, understand something here. We're constantly working.
Yes.
It is 6:18 on a Saturday night. We're supposed to be having a day off, and we're here shooting a video to teach.
7:20.
Correction, 7:20. Okay. It's 7:20 at night on a Saturday. Okay. And here we are. We are recording this video to try to help people. This is Saturday night. We should be chilling, taking it easy. The workday ended yesterday, but
Yes.
not for us.
Not for us.
We keep going.
Yes.
We put in many 6-day weeks.
Yes.
And when we're not working at our regular jobs,
Yes.
okay, Wendy's writing songs. We
Yes.
are shooting videos. We're making
Currently,
content
I'm
like
writing
this.
a script for the next music
Right,
video.
well, she is writing a script for the next music video.
Yeah.
We're making this video here tonight.
Yes.
Okay. We did the other one last week after hours on
Yes,
Friday.
on Friday.
Okay. So part one of this series,
Yes.
we did that, and so here we are doing all of these things. Okay, and we don't make money. We've already covered all of that, but we don't make anything right now on all of these things, okay? Because we need you people to keep, to watch, to view, to like, to
Yes,
share. This is
yes.
why we ask,
Yeah,
okay?
yes.
It costs money, big money,
Yeah.
to have the photo equipment, the lights, all the camera
Everything.
equipment, all of these kinds of things that we're doing in order to produce this. It costs money for the audio equipment that we used for the live show.
Yeah.
And
Even
then
for
we'll
this
do
light
some-
right now.
Yes, for the light here, the other lighting effects, and when we're going to go and make a music video, it costs time and money for locations, wardrobes, all of these kinds of things. We are constantly this woman right here is one of the hardest working people you have ever met in your life. So don't think for 5 seconds that because she's over here in the United States that she's not busting her backside every single day, because I'm here to tell you she is, okay?
Yes.
So, and that's just the facts. So
Yeah, and it applies to you too. Jesus.
yeah, it does. It
Yes.
does. So between the two of us, I'll
Makes us
guarantee
a
you.
power couple. I think.
That's right, and you will not find a harder working couple anywhere on this planet. That I will guarantee you. Okay.
Yeah. So what
we
we're
just
trying.
don't stop.
Yeah. So what we're trying to say is we love what we do.
Yes.
And we do different kinds of content.
Mm-hmm.
With the hope that it gets to somebody who really appreciates
Mm-hmm.
it. So if you don't appreciate it, it's okay. You can leave it. You can leave the room for people who appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are used to those fake channels where they will just tell you things that you want to hear, this is not the place.
Mm-hmm.
We will educate you. We will teach you a few things. We will tell you everything as they are.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's upon you to take the pointers that you want to take. And then if you listen to the things we've been saying, if you listen to everything, including like the other topics that we've handled in the previous shows, then by the time you get that green card, you will be grateful.
Oh, for sure.
You will be grateful.
Yes, you will.
And you can come and type here and say something.
That's right.
And if this video helps you one way or another to understand better the system, how the United States system works, you can let us know down below. And if you have any other questions, maybe you can also ask us. If we know the answers to them, then we will answer. If we don't know, we will just be honest with you too.
Correct.
And we will not ask you for any amount of money.
No. But don't ask us for any
But
money either.
Because I've also seen on TikTok and other places there are some people who are lying to these people, because people are desperate to come to the US, so people are lying to them that these are the green card hacks. You do these things and then you get the green card. Okay, you do these things, I will prepare for you what to do these things. We won't take any money from you too. So all you have to do is watch this video, and then it should help you with one or two.
Because there are no hacks.
There are no hacks.
Well,
Yeah.
So I guess
That brings us to the end of the video, and I think this is the last part of that.
Yes.
Otherwise, it would be a stretch. You know?
Right.
At the end there, we got a little bit, extra, but that is the point of this channel. It's a whole unfiltered conversation. So
Correct.
as they come, we add them.
Right.
And other things that we said, we felt like they are necessary to be pointed out anyway. So thank you so much for joining me on this amazing discussion.
Thank you, and it was fun.
For your input on it too.
Thank you.
Yes. And I think now we're going to have to say bye-bye to the people.
Okay.
Make sure, we need to tell them to make sure to go and check the other channel and watch the music from there.
Right.
They can also watch any other type of content here. If it's their first time coming on this channel,
right,
they can also do that. So, thank you so much everybody for tuning in on today's talk show. It's been a minute, guys, and as you can see, we even forgot the intro last week. But as always, this is Wendy Talk Show edition. You know what we do, and we're trying to get it back to the works. And if this was helpful to you, give us a like, share, subscribe, comment, and also don't forget to turn on the post notification bell so that every single time we're going to be making an upload, you're going to be notified. Thank you so much everybody for tuning in, and we hope to see you on the next one.
Bye-bye now.
If you need to see more on food, music, beauty, fashion, DIY, flying, and so much more, kindly hit on the subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on the post notification bell so that every single time we're going to be making an upload, you are going to be notified. Thank you so much for the love and support, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.